Welcome to this
Hi
session.
guys. Hi, I'm so sorry I joined late. I had a puja going on at home.
Oh,
Happy Ganesh Chaturthi, everybody.
happy Ganesh Chaturthi, you too. Happy Ganesh Chaturthi, everyone.
Okay, I hope I'm visible.
Yeah,
Alright. Cool. Let's wait for a few people. I'll just pull up my slides till then.
yeah, definitely.
Cool.
By the time all the people right over here can share where you guys are from in the chat box, and if you want to turn on your microphone, that would be the best. Mumbai, nice.
Oh, a lot of Mumbai folks. Hi.
Faridabad, great. Gurgaon, nice. People from north. By the way, I'm also from Chandigarh, north. What about you, Lisha?
I'm from Mumbai. I'm originally
Oh,
from Udaipur in Rajasthan,
mm-hmm.
but I've been born and brought up in Mumbai.
Great, great.
Okay, let me know whenever we're ready to start.
Sure, let's just wait till 7:10,
Cool.
right? Yeah.
Great.
So if we're talking about the Mumbai, so I guess there would be huge celebration right over there today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even I have Ganpati at my place.
Ah, nice. Kolkata. Okay, nice.
I'll just share my screen. Then
Yeah, please, please. So by the time we start, let me just introduce Fueler to you guys if you are new to it, right? Anyone here who's new to Fueler, what Fueler actually does, or want to know more about it? Anyone here? They can raise their hand. They can use the chat box. Feel free. And let me share my screen. So I guess all of you here are into some kind of professional work, or even if you are a student, right? You must be have some kind of projects, or you've done some kind of work for internship or other stuff, right? And if you are familiar with the developers or designers, you might have an idea of GitHub or Dribble or Behance, right? So what they actually do is they provide a platform to all the creative people. GitHub is basically for the developers, and Behance and Dribble is basically for the creative people like designers, video editors, motion graphic designers, right? And they give the platform to them to showcase their work to whole of the world, right? But what if the same concept is applied for every profession in the world? Whether you're a content writer, whether you're a marketer, digital marketer, doesn't matter. So that's where Fueler comes into it. So it's basically a portfolio site for all the generalist people present, no matter what profession you have. If you talk about me, so myself Shushank from Team Fueler, and basically I'm a designer and a marketer. And if I want to present my work to any of the client, right, I have this portfolio page where I can show all of my work. Not only I just can show as a thumbnail with the title, I can also create a whole description about that product, sorry, that project, right? And I can add the proof of here, right? The original link where this work has actually been done. And in today's world, where there's so much demand for all this freelance and all the creative people, no matter what profession you are, proof of work is basically very important in today's world, because it actually tells people that what have you actually done, right? So yeah, this where Fueler helps you out. So you can add your full description of the project, what you have actually done, with whom you have done. You can also collaborate with the other people and even post the project. Like we have a collaboration section. Like these are my some of the few collaborative projects with Anu. So yeah, you can also put your projects, your work right here with it. So not taking much of your time. So I guess now we should start. What do you say, Lisha?
Yeah, let's do that. Let me just share my
Great,
screen.
great, great.
Yeah.
Sure.
There's no disturbance at my end, right?
Nope.
Great. Okay.
Hi, Surya.
Cool. Okay. So, all right. So I hope my screen's visible. Yeah, I think it is. So I'll give a
Yeah.
short introduction about myself first. My name is Lisha. I am currently a final year student of IT engineering in Mumbai University. Apart from my studies, so I have not really been interested in engineering a lot, just like any other engineer that is out there. So I started exploring a lot of different fields and avenues right from my first year, so that I could understand what I'm really interested in. Uh, Although I don't work as a product manager right now, that is something that I want to. So I started following a lot of PMs. I got to know what a product manager actually does. So I started following a lot of PMs on LinkedIn. I started reading a lot of articles. So that is something that attracted me a lot. So I started from there. I'm interested in growth and startups a lot in general. So, for a person like me who's interested in growth and startups, if you are like me, then product management is a natural choice to you, because if you want to work in a startup, uh, or even in a corporate as a product manager, there are a lot of different aspects that you need to take care. Hi, Ritin. There are a lot of different aspects that you need to take care of, right? So management is just not bringing out ideas or handling a team of engineers. uh, it's very different from project management. So that is something that we need to understand. I will try my level best to make you understand the same through the next 1 hour. And I would also like to help you understand and create proof of work as a PM aspirant. And the best way to do is Fueler, of course. So I'll walk you through my Fueler profile as well. And yeah, let's get into it. So, what is proof of work? I am sure all of us already know this. It's basically, you showcasing your work by building a portfolio of projects, of any case studies that you've done, or any content that basically demonstrates your skills and most importantly establishes your personal brand. So there that this is where Fueler comes in, and especially with with a portfolio or a job profile like product management, having a proof of work becomes more important. I'll explain in the next slide. So before we dive right into it, let's understand what exactly is product management, or what a product manager actually does. So whenever we have any company, any startup, there are three main aspects to it. One is the customer end, the sales, marketing, business end, where the revenue comes from. One is the user experience. What will the product design be like? What will the user actually see when they use the product? And of course, the third and one of the most important aspects is tech, the engineers, the tech stack, what coding needs to be done, how we need to build the product, etc. Product manager is someone who leads all of these, is a part of all of these teams, and is someone who lies in the middle of this sphere. So as a product manager, your role will be to talk to engineers, to help them set the roadmap for what you're building, talk to your designers, have a good design knowledge, understand what will be the perfect flow for your users, how you can make your UX better for your customers. And of course, you need to also understand how to make revenue out of the product. This is where you talk to the CEOs, you talk to the stakeholders, and you need to make sure that even though your product is extremely tech savvy, it's extremely light, it's very easy to use for a person, like, you know, a person who has technical knowledge. But if it's not easy to use for a customer, or if it does not have any business use case, if it does not make any money for the company, then that feature or that product is useless. So you need to have a good sense of all three. uh, so if you are good at this, if you understand all of these three aspects to some extent, of course, you obviously don't need to sit and make the product, you obviously don't need to sit and code, then you are good to go, you will be a great leader or a product manager. So some common skills that are needed to become a product manager is, of course, tech knowledge. You need to talk to engineers, right? So if you have a business use case or a feature and you tell your engineering team that you need to build this, and if they tell you कि नहीं ये नहीं हो सकता या ये नहीं बन सकता, this is not possible, you need to know if it's possible or not possible. You need to understand the language that your engineers are speaking. You need to help them understand how you can solve a problem or a problem statement more easily, with lesser time, with lesser resources, etc. You of course need communication skills, because you need to talk to a lot of different people. Talking to a CEO or a business stakeholder or an investor will be very different from the way you talk to an engineer. So that is what something you need to understand. Analytics, using Excel, using analytics tools like Mixpanel, CleverTap, getting into the data, understanding the data is very, very important. So I currently work in the partnerships team at FamPay. Even though I'm not directly into the product role, I have to look at data at a daily basis. We need to understand wherein the user is tapping, what products are the user liking, what features are they, you know, interacting with more, and that helps us make more business decisions and get in more revenue. So analytics is a very, very important part of the job. Leadership, of course, you will have ton of interns or a huge team under you. A lot of people like to address a PM as a mini CEO, so you need to have that leadership skills in you. Strategy, of course, you need to sit with the CEO, brainstorm about the roadmap, what the next step of your product will be. So you need to have that kind of strategy enabling skills as well. Design knowledge, of course, is very important. Even if you have an amazing engineering team, if you have a very good designing team, if you're not able to explain to them कि क्या बनाना क्या है, वो नहीं बना पाएंगे, and then there won't be any thing to, you know, showcase. Of course, problem solving is something very important, because most CEOs or most business side of people, sales people, they won't have knowledge about वो आपको एक प्रॉब्लम दे देंगे, उसको सॉल्व कैसे करना है. इन मोस्ट केसेस मे बी दे विल नॉट बी एबल टू हेल्प यू विद दैट. तो यू नीड टू हेल्प देम अंडरस्टैंड कि ये प्रॉब्लम कैसे सॉल्व होगी, एंड ऑन द सेम एंड यू नीड टू ब्रिज द गैप बिटवीन द प्रॉब्लम एंड द सॉल्वेशन with the engineering and tech team as well. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about the hurdles now. So I am sure most of us know कि PM का job मिलना बहुत ज़्यादा मुश्किल है, especially when you are from when you don't have prior experience or you are a student. So these are a few of the hurdles that I myself have faced, and I know of a lot of people who face this too. Suppose there's a very common myth कि and a lot of people have said this to me as well कि ठीक है, I don't know how to code very well, I don't know how to design very well, but I can talk very nicely. So they're like, हाँ ठीक है, PM बन जा. But that is not how it works. So you need to have very good technical knowledge. अगर आपके पास वो technical knowledge नहीं है, तो it becomes very difficult after a point. Uh, क्योंकि if there is another person who has the technical knowledge who is able to speak as well, बोलना बहुत आसान होता है. But if you don't have that back-end knowledge, you won't make a very good PM. If you're not from a very good college, it becomes slightly difficult to get into PM, at least in India. You need prior experience. You say you don't have any referrals in any company. Most importantly, if you don't have any portfolio or skills to show, प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट इज अ जॉब दैट यू वोंट नेवर गेट. बिकॉज इसका इंटरव्यू लेना, या मैंने कहा ना, बोलना बहुत आसान है, बट अगर आपके पास वो स्किल्स दिखाने के लिए कुछ नहीं है, कोई आपको जॉब नहीं देगा, बिकॉज इट्स अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल and no actual PM skills. So a lot of people in this country different नहीं differentiate कर पाते हैं project management और product management के बीच में. So if you are someone who thinks project management is product management, then you don't have the actual analytic skills. आपको Excel चलाना नहीं आता. You don't know the complex functions. You don't know SQL. So you won't be able to get into PM. And of course, there are a lot more folks who want to get into PM now. So it is a very extremely tough competition. So before you actually think about becoming a PM, I suggest we should always ask ourselves, why do I want to become a product manager? And if you delve deep into what a PM actually needs to do, needs to understand, so then you'll understand, are you even interested in it, or does it look very rosy, looks very high paying job, तो इसलिए सब आपको चाहिए. I'll give you a personal anecdote of this. So in my company, we had an opening for product operations analytics intern. So I requested if I could be moved to that role. But when I started looking into or talked to another one of my friends in the company who was actually doing that job for the past 6 months, I very quickly understood that I was not really interested in doing just that product operations or product analytics wala thing on a daily basis, because it's very it was not my style. I wanted to talk to a lot of people. I wanted to do a lot more than just sit behind a computer and do it. So if you don't really understand into depth या first hand जाके नहीं देखोगे if you're really interested or not, आपको दूर से हमेशा लगेगा कि हाँ मैं interested हूँ पर मुझे मिल नहीं रहा. तो once you become interested, once you understand कि नहीं यही करना है, then we start working on it. And how we start working on it is something that let's talk about it now. Guys, if you guys have any questions throughout the session, please feel free to ask directly. We can also have a Q&A at the end of the session. Just give me 1 second. Cool. ठीक है, तो now let's काम की बात पे आते हैं. प्रूफ ऑफ वर्क क्या बनाना है, कैसे बनाना है, ये सब तो हमने डिस्कस कर लिया अब. ठीक है, तो नेक्स्ट थिंग ये आगे क्यों नहीं बढ़ रहा. 1 second. Yep. ठीक है, तो proof of work for PMs has a lot of different things that you can do. You can make case studies, you can make PRDs, tear downs, you can make reports, strategy proposals. There's a lot of things you can do. I'll talk about the few main things that you can. Okay, are you all able to see that widget? I thought it was just for me. Thanks. Uh, I didn't understand y'all could see it. Okay, so yeah, so these are a lot of different things that you can do. Especially when you are putting it on Fueler, there's a different way that you can upload it. You can put all of these as main points. What was your objective, your approach, what were the key points of a particular proof of work, the learnings that you have taken from it, and the conclusion. Uh, let's start talking about the first thing, which is called a PRD. So PRD is basically a product requirements document. This is something that every PM needs to make when you are on the job, right? So whenever a new feature comes, there's a new feature that the company is proposing you to make. So you need to make a detailed PRD as to why, what is the feature about, what is the product about. So there's a lot of things that go into it. I'll walk you through a PRD that I had made to get more understanding. These are basically the contents of the PRD. I have put it down so that you guys can refer to it whenever you are looking at looking at the PPT. I'll share my screen and I'll walk you through the PRD that I had made. Okay. So a little backstory. I was part of CrewWorks product cohort last month. So there we were put into teams. We made teams ourselves, and then we were working on any side project that we wanted to do. So I had a designer with me. I had a front end, back end engineer with me, and I wanted to try my hands at doing an actual PM job. So I decided to work as a PM for that particular project. So the project that we were working on was called Review Though. It is basically a video collection or testimonial collection tool for small scale businesses, for freelancers, etc. So this is a PRD that I had made to get started. Uh, okay, so it's how you can go about is, first of all, of course, you need to talk about what your product is about. define it in a very simple way, थोड़े से words में. You don't need to make it very detailed. uh, Next is, most importantly, you need to put out the problem statement. Writing a PRD is very important because it just not helps you tell people what you're doing, but जब आप वो PRD बना रहे हो तब आपको खुद को भी समझ आ रहा है कि भाई हम क्या प्रॉब्लम एक्चुअली सॉल्व करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. there's a lot of things that get clear in your head whenever you're working on the PRD कि okay, this was a problem statement that we were working on, but is it actually that effective or that useful? धीरे धीरे, as soon as you start working on it, your thought process becomes clearer. You understand your own product better than you did before making it. You can define the problem statement, whatever problem statement is that you're actually trying to solve. Second, as I mentioned, as a PM, you need to understand to get the revenue. Uh, so GrowthX has this very they have this I won't say their motto, but it's a very huge part of what they are. They have very clearly said ki startups have moved on from growth at any cost to revenue based growth. पहले in the 2019-2020 period, startups were like they were putting in अंधा पैसा in the growth कि हमें अब users चाहिए, हमें scale करना है, हमें ये करना है, हमें वो करना है, at the expense of burning money. They were burning their investors का पैसा and there was no revenue. Now that the market is down, the only decisions the CEOs or the founders approve is the ones that are giving them money, even if it's not very sexy, even if it's not very product, even if it's not very cool, जो कि केस पहले नहीं था. So now that we have moved on to revenue based growth, understanding the business goal and where the revenue will come from of your product is very important. So as soon as you point down the business goals, you yourself understand कि हाँ ठीक है, ये भी मेरा source of revenue हो सकता है, etc. Next is the user personas. User persona is something that who is going to use my product, what is the user, who is the user that will use my product. For example, if this is let's talk about Reviewdo itself. So as I said, it's a test video testimonial collection tool, right? So in my head an immediate thought comes ki theek hai, either small scale startups or e-commerce D2C जो websites होती हैं वो use कर लेंगी. Freelancers who have agencies etc, they might use it to put it as a testimonial on their website, right? वो use कर सकते हैं. Even large D2C brands etc might use it. So as soon as you think of these things, you need to start segmenting your users into different categories. So this is a very easy way of segmenting your users into different categories. You can see I've put in a little qualitative and quantitative data here. That is completely from research. Read a lot of articles, view a lot of videos. आप कोई भी product सोच रहे हो, it can be as simple as ठीक है मेरे को एक music app बनाना है Spotify जैसा. Go read about Spotify, go read about music apps, उनके क्या qualitative data, उनका क्या data user base है, उनका read about everything. Then you'll understand कि ठीक है Spotify में ये एक problem missing है, I'll pick that up and I'll make my product which will be better than Spotify. So that will help you a lot. And once you list down the users that you're building for, it will make your product building process very simple. You will understand what you need to provide to them and how you need to provide it to them. For example, let's talk about FamPay. FamPay is a company which solely is mostly focused on teenagers and young adults. So we as a company understand that our user base does not have that kind of money that Cred's user base might have, right? So our user base won't come and spend in 10,000, 50,000 rupees each month. Maximum they might spend is 5k, 10k, depending on the different users. So we have different user personas based on the spends that they do. So someone who just spends about 2,000 or 5,000 rupees in a month is a very quality user for us. They're the rich kids of the app. Someone who uses between 1 to 2,000 is a normal user, the middle class, mostly Indian user. And someone who uses below 1,000 or spends less than 1k is a very casual user for us, and he's just there, he's not a very good quality user for us. So this is how you start building on features. If you want to build on something only for the quality user, then you start targeting them, etc. So this is something that will impact all your business decisions. And then you define a few business user personas depending on this segmentations. Next, as I said, if you're building, say, let's take example of Fampe itself, you need to understand the pain points. So how did Fampe start? Basically, they saw that kids use a lot of mobile phones. They're always on their phones, but they don't have access to GPay, Paytm, or any other digital payments app. So that they picked up the pain point from that, and they were like, "ठीक है, हम एक payments app बनाते just for teenagers." So they very smartly took out a pain point which no one else was solving. They took out the user persona and then they started building for it. So always mention the pain points that are there. Then of course you can mention the competitors if you have any, and you can always try to understand what they are doing, why are they important. So you can list down them as direct, indirect potential, and study your competitors. Then you need to do a SWOT analysis of your own product in comparison to your competitors. Key where what is my strength as compared to Spotify, for example. My strength can be I am free for everybody. I won't show any ads. But then of course, then you need to think about कि हाँ मैं पैसे कैसे कमाऊंगा. So that is something that you need to understand. Then weakness, opportunities, etc. You need to do a full SWOT analysis. Next is so whenever you start building a product, you don't go all in, right? Uh, जैसे आप अभी Spotify यूज कर रहे हो, it was not built in a day, it was not built in 3 months. So you always start with the MVP, which is a minimal viable product. You make the product in a very small scale ki it fulfills the basic needs of your app, but you don't have any excessive features or any huge use cases. So for your MVP, what can be the target group? You can pick those people out and start building only for them. Then of course, as we go into analytics, etc., there are a few metrics that we need to track. North Star metric is something that is the most important feature, or say the metric or the data point that you would like to track. For example, let's say for FamPay or any other payments app, their North Star metric will be the total payments volume, the amount of payments that have happened in a month or a week or a day. Every finance app tracks that. There are other KPIs or key performance indicators as well. For example, you're building a cake, right? You're making a cake. तो तुम्हारा North Star metric हो सकता है कि how tasty it is. But there are other factors also, right? How good it looks, how is the presentation, plating कैसी है, decoration कैसा है. All of those are key performance indicators as well. So that is also something that you need to note down. And then, of course, since we were making an MVP for the cohort, I also mentioned what features we will be putting in the MVP. You obviously need to include the design and the business workflow of your project. And at the end, if you have any hypothesis that suppose in the next 3 months we want to include, like we want a 25% increase in users, you want to reach to 1,000 customers, etc., etc. So that is something that you can always aim for. Okay. Cool. So now that we have talked about PRDs, we can move on to product teardowns. So this is something that is very I like these a lot. Product teardowns is basically तुम कोई भी product उठा रहे हो और उसको तोड़ रहे हो. तोड़ रहे हो not in the literal sense, because most of us will do a product teardown of online products or digital products. तो तुम कोई भी product उठा रहे हो and then you're going into the depths of those products, कि भाई ये कैसे चल रहा है, इस product में ये क्या है, what are you doing, what is the product actually doing. So I had actually made a product teardown of Fueler itself. So I'll just I won't walk you through all of that in detail, but I'll just showcase what a product teardown actually does. So you talk about the brand, you talk about the USP, user journey. So doing a product teardown does not mean that you're criticizing the product. It means that you are trying to understand कि वो product कर क्या रहा है, for in all the senses, कि उसका कस्टमर बिहेवियर क्या है, उसका सोर्सेज ऑफ रेवेन्यू क्या है, वो प्रोडक्ट वाइज कैसा है, व्हाट इज द यूएक्स, what are the features that are present there, and then you start giving your inputs कि अच्छा they can increase their revenue source from here, they can include a lot more stuff if they start doing this. So this is the user behavior, and then I started providing the solutions कि whatever I felt was missing, I started putting in a lot of features and a lot of aspects that I think Fueler could solve. And I did not limit myself to just the tech and the product aspect. I also talked about the community. So when you have a product which has a side business as well, right? Maybe may it be community, may it be a Instagram page, or for example, let's take case of Bombay Shaving Company. The founder has his own podcast, right, which is very very famous, the barbershop. So that is his main marketing strategy. तो उस कैंपेन का या उस प्रोग्राम का क्या हाल है, कैसे चल रहा है, दैट इज ऑल्सो समथिंग दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू देम. So that is also something that you can include. And then you talk about all of the features or whatever solutions that you want to provide. uh, तो बेसिकली एक प्रोडक्ट टीयर डाउन का गोल क्या होना चाहिए? यू वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड दी हाउ द ऐप ऑनबोर्ड्स और एक्टिवेट्स एंगेजेस यूजर. बेसिकली प्रोडक्ट क्या कर रहा है एंड विच कस्टमर पेन पॉइंट इज इट एड्रेसिंग. कि कोई आहा मोमेंट है क्या? फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगेन फॉर फैम पे आहा मोमेंट क्या था कि भाई टीनेजर्स फोन यूज करते हैं, दे प्रोबेबली हेल्प देयर पेरेंट्स अ लॉट इन ऑर्डरिंग फ्रॉम ऑनलाइन ई कॉमर्स साइट्स एक्सेट्रा. बट उनके पास है ही नहीं. वो एक प्रॉब्लम होती है ना कि बार बार मॉम को कॉल कर करके ओटीपी मंगानी है. बेसिकली उन्होंने वो वाली प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व की है. तो दैट इज देयर आहा मोमेंट. And then what is that particular company or organization trying to solve? Let's take the case of Fueler here. Fueler is trying to solve the problem of we're a lot of generalists, right? I don't have any real proper skills like like an engineer does. I do a lot of different things. I want to showcase a lot of different stuff. GitHub doesn't help me do that. Medium doesn't help me do that. But Fueler helps me put in a lot of different things. मैं वहाँ पर अपना एक PRD भी डाल सकती हूँ, अपना एक article भी डाल सकती हूँ, अपना कोई code भी डाल सकती हूँ. So that is something that the organization is trying to solve. And what were your key takeaways? What was your learning that can help you make a similar product or can be helped to put in the product? Let's say I suggested a few features or etc, right? So what can you help them? And then of course what are the gaps in their journey and how can you help them to improve? So product tear down, of course, एक और चीज के लिए हेल्प करते हैं. Suppose you want to intern at X company, right? You make a product tear down for that company and you send it to their founder or any of the team members. They know that you've studied the product very well. They know that you're suggesting features already even before being in the team. So that gives you an edge over other people, and that is something that we want as PM aspirants, right? Because that is something that everybody is searching for. कि मैं कैसे दूसरों से बेटर अपने आप को प्रेजेंट कर सकूं, and how could I get a job over someone from an IIT or someone who has prior PM experience also. So this personal touch of course helps always. Next, we can move on to case studies. Case studies is basically you have a question or you have a feature that you want to propose or any problem statement that you're trying to solve. So you make a case study for it. So what would ideally the first steps be? You need to understand what the question is, right? For examples, some you have an interview at Spotify and they ask you, how do we improve retention of users over the next 3 months? You need to understand the question. What is retention? How do you calculate retention of users? For every company, the retention of users will be different. Some companies would want कि वो बंदा मेरा ऐप रोज खोले. Some companies would want कि वो बंदा मेरा ऐप एक महीने में 4 बार खोले. So that is something that you need to understand. Ask a lot of questions, understand the question or the problem statement that you have. Then you need to evaluate the need. Suppose you are proposing a feature, then you need to evaluate the need of the feature कि क्या इस need से वो problem solve होगी, क्या ये product ये feature की need है. Then you validate the need. Then you do a lot of calculations, you do a lot of say experiments, or you talk to the founders directly, and then you validate कि हाँ भाई अगर हम ये शायद apply करें तो problem solve हो सकती है. Then you set a goal. For example, again the customer retention example, then you set a goal for the feature कि हाँ अगर हम ये वाली feature लाते हैं तो 25% retention increase हो जाएगी या 25% people will retain. तो ये वाला goal आपको set करना है. We are not talking about achieving the goal right now. You will of course have to take steps for that retention, but हाँ एक goal set करना काफी important है. And basis all of these, you start taking decisions. So I have a few case studies on my Fueler profile. Uh, Fun fact, when I was interviewing at FAMPay, they asked me to make two case studies as a part of their interview rounds. I made them, they studied it, and I was called for an interview again for that. And that's how I got into FAMPay. There was another company called Wisdom as well. They also gave me a set of 4 questions, and I had to make a case study for it. I have that listed on my Fueler profile as well. And वहाँ से I again, if you are able to explain what you have made, why you have made it, then you will be able to. I was able to get a offer from there as well. Okay, I think I have a question here. How to know? Yes. Okay. So again, आपको ना calculation करनी पड़ेगी. For example, if they had a similar feature for okay, let's take the example of Spotify itself. कि भाई they had another feature, for example कि they have this feature right at the end of the year. वो लोग आपको ये देते हैं, क्या कहते हैं, Spotify Wrapped, कि आपके पूरे साल भर में आपने क्या क्या गाने सुने, who was your favorite artist. Why do they need to do that? क्योंकि इससे यूजर की रिटेंशन बढ़ती है, मे बी दैट इज द केस. सो इफ यू ऑलरेडी हैव दैट, यू स्टडी अबाउट दैट पर्टिकुलर फीचर. ठीक है कि ठीक है, वंस Spotify started launching this feature, तो यूजर started personally connecting with Spotify a lot. इसके लिए they ended up staying, and then they want to look at their Spotify Wrapped or what they were listening to at the end of the year. So उससे काफी एक यूजर चर्निंग कम हुई है. So similarly, you can suggest another feature, and if you see कि उस feature से 10% उनको या फिर 10% user retention हुई थी, तो you have to make those calculations, you have to assume numbers a little, and then you can आप ऐसा एक assumption दे सकते हो कि हाँ ठीक है, इससे 25% हमारा retention increase हो सकता है basis this feature. So TLDR will be you need to experiment. It works on guesstimates. You need to take up numbers and then you need to assume कि अगर आप वो same चीज apply करोगे तो वो आपके case में कैसे चलेगा. Okay. Cool. More than these, there are a lot of other things that you can do. Most importantly, if you pick a side project as a PM, that will help you a lot. By side project, I mean you can build anything. You can have a blog that talks about product management. There are a lot of blogs, there are a lot of Medium writers who write about product in general. This will help you showcase your knowledge कि हाँ मुझे इस चीज़ के बारे में इतनी knowledge है. I have put in a lot of resources at the end. I will talk about those as well. So simple as starting a blog will help you also understand product better whenever you're talking about a topic, and it will of course help you build a personal brand that this person knows more about product. Second can be building something. There is no replacement for building something. Make a team. If you don't know how to code, or if you don't know how to code, you want to try out no code tools, you can try that. But if you can team up with other people and do the job of an actual PM at a very small scale just for an MVP, please do that. It can be anything as simple as just building a, what can I say, the simplest way, हाँ, just making a calculator app for example, but उसके पीछे क्या thought process है, वो button यहाँ पर क्यों place होता है, all of that thought process is very important to actually become a PM later. And if you're able to document it very well, if you're able to explain to the सामने वाला interviewer or any recruiter कि ये thought process क्यों था मेरा, that will help you. And of course, hackathons are always an option. Pair up with a lot of people, go talk to a lot of people, network करो. Put yourself in uncomfortable places जहाँ पे आप दूसरे लोगों से मिल रहे हो, बात कर रहे हो, and so that they know you, and ultimately if they do have a job, they do at least get you an interview. If you're not able to clear it, then that's on you of course, but at least you will be able to set your foot in the room. Okay, so this actually is the end of the presentation. I have attached a lot of resources. These are a few resources that I look at daily, I read from daily. Lenny's newsletter is a very, very amazing newsletter. It's on Substack. Please subscribe to it. If you have not read the previous editions, you can always read it. He also has a podcast. You can listen to that. I was talking about product tear downs, right? So there's a company called the Product Folks. They regularly have these product tear down competitions. Uh, they have listed all of the product teardowns that have won in those competitions on their website. Please go through them, refer to them whenever you're building your own product teardown for the first time. I still refer to them a lot, so you understand कि ठीक है मैं ये भी include कर सकता हूँ. I can study this factor as well. Follow a lot of people on LinkedIn. All of these are links itself. When you open the PPT, you will be able to see it. So there's this post on LinkedIn. Please read it. But in general, LinkedIn page, start following a lot of people who post good content around PM, around growth, around startups. You will be able to understand this. This right here, the 50 plus awesome resources, is a heaven for any PM aspirant. It's a Notion doc. It's it covers everything. It has a lot of stuff on it. So if you're able to refer to it, please do. And of course, last May we have another website. They have a lot of again resources here. They have a lot of work done by other PM aspirants. So you can definitely go check those out as well. Lastly, after the session, I would want you guys to just pick any product you use. It can be it can be Spotify, it can be any workout app that you use, or Fueler for example. Anything जो आपका मन करे, जो आप actually use करते हो. Instagram हो गया, कुछ भी हो गया. Think of a problem or feature that uh, sorry, not the problem you want in it, but yeah, the feature you want in it, or the problem that you're facing while using it, right? तो वो चीज के बारे में सोचो. And now that you've thought about it, you're already one step ahead of a lot of people, right? वो लोग सिर्फ ये सोचते हैं कि हाँ ये प्रॉब्लम है, बट उसका कुछ करते नहीं है. So now that you have already thought of the problem, go back, pick up anything that you can do. Maybe make a PRD, maybe understand the problem, make a case study of how you can improve that page or how you can improve that platform, and start working on it. You will understand about the problem better, you'll understand what a PM does better, and of course, you will have something to showcase as a proof of work, and you will have something to showcase as a skill set. So that is it. Thank you from my end. If you guys have any questions, I would love to take them.
So first of all, amazing session, Lisha. Thank you very much for creating this deck, explaining everything from 0 to 1 for a beginner, for who's aspirant over PM. And for my takeaways, what I took from your session is that a very research part is very crucial for a
It is.
PM, right? And one thing that struck in my mind, you were talking about PRDs, right? That how PRD writing a PRD is very crucial, and something just got stuck in my mind that if you want to be a better communicator, it's advised to write, right? Whatever you are thinking, you have to always write, right? And I guess somewhere or other, this thing actually helps in PRD too, because at the end of the day, you have to communicate the same idea to
Yes.
all the other departments, right? So I guess this was so very crucial thing that I learned from this session. And yeah, guys, please, any question you have, please drop in the chat box. I'll appreciate you if you raise your hand and use your mic. That would be great.
Uh, you want me to review profiles, Ritin?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hi, Lisha.
Yeah.
Great one as always. So I guess let's do some review of the profiles. Like we'll share some profiles with you. Just share your screen and you can explain right whatever they have done and what else they can make it. What else they can do to make it even better, right? Yeah. So like you can pick profiles from here, or we can directly share some profiles with you. Okay.
Um,
Which one do you like?
I think you can share the profiles. That'll be better, so I'll be able to talk.
Sure. Great. You can start with your own one. Okay, that will be great. Uske baad I'm sharing more of the profiles.
Cool, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So that way it will be very much useful for everyone, right, to understand how to put out your proof of work as a product manager. So meanwhile, I'm
Cool.
sharing other profiles.
Okay. So I hope my screen's visible, right? ठीक है. So this is my profile. of course you need to have a catchy banner talking about what you do. I think Shashank ka काफी banner अच्छा था. He, as he said, he's a designer and a marketer, right? So he very clearly put out कि वो क्या क्या करता है, वो क्या क्या कर सकता है. So that is something that you very clearly and minimally need to communicate via your banner, so that people who are interested in all of these things stay in your profile. उसके बाद if you are a aspiring PM, there are a few keywords that you need to know about. As I said, you need to understand how to build a product, you need to understand how to drive revenue, you need to understand how to drive growth. So that is something that you need to communicate in very few words कि हाँ मैं ये सब कर सकता हूँ या मैं ये सब कर सकती हूँ. Then let's talk about the proof of work. So I don't have a lot of projects. I have 10 projects here, but if I send these 10 projects to someone, I am positive they will have a very good impression of what all I have done in my previous internships, or what I, whatever I can do. So यहाँ पे I have a good mix of case studies. I have written an article about my intern interview experience. So in this article I've talked about also my shortcomings कि मैंने क्या क्या नहीं किया था ठीक से. So that is also something that you need to understand, and then of course you need to work on those shortcomings. So when a recruiter sees a very well-rounded profile, they will be bound to at least take a step into your projects, etc. So one shortcoming that I can see for myself is, or two rather, is consistency. So I get really busy with college and work, as most of us do, so मैं उतना ज़्यादा time नहीं दे पाती हूँ most of the times, except when I have holidays. So consistency काफ़ी खराब है for uploading proof of works. One thing. Second, I see a lot of profiles on Fuller which have very, very amazing what do you call these, the thumbnails, right? So my thumbnails are not extremely bad, but they're not that clickbaity or eye catchy as well. So that is also something that will help you gain more viewers for your proof of work. So these are two aspects that I would like to work on myself. So of course, that is something that you guys can also take away from this. Okay, let's talk about Aditya. Okay, so one thing would be this: the banner is not very speaking, or it's not telling of who Aditya is or what he does. So maybe that's one thing that can be improved. Again, the description is not very indicative of his skills or whatever he can do. But when we move on to his projects, these projects are extremely amazing. The thumbnails are very eye catchy, they're very neat, uh, they're very telling of what kya hoga andar. And I have gone through most of his projects, and they're very well written, they're very well made. Again, but since I am interested in PMing, I wanted to explore a lot of profiles, तो मैं जाके खोला. But अगर he doesn't have a very good heading, or if he doesn't have a very good description, chances are a recruiter who doesn't have a lot of time might not look at it, and they might miss out on a very good candidate. So that is something that, of course, you need to take care of descriptions and the thumbnails. Uh, ooh, okay, so Sneh has a lot of proof of work, which is a very, very good thing, and his banner is also amazing. So, see, his thumbnails are so good, you immediately want to look into everything. So, this is something that most of us can learn, I think, from Sneh and make good thumbnails. He has a product teardown on Dream 11. Again, it's a very not a very detailed description, but he has talked about what he has done and what he has learned from it. So that's a very good thing. And of course, any person who's interested in PM or a recruiter will definitely go in and check it out. So I think Ritain has put in the links here, right? So most of us can go and check. Oh, so Nancy is someone who works at Paytm. I'm absolutely not going to review her profile because oh no. So yeah, I mean, you guys can go check it out. Again, we should not put like a selfie or something on our fueler profile, because if we want to send it to someone, it doesn't look that professional. But the kind of work that she has done and the proof of works are extremely good. So anyone who's aspiring to be a PM can definitely understand. It's not very design oriented, it's very theoretical, but the content is extremely good. So if you are so since she has experience, she doesn't need to prove herself by doing everything, right? But if you are a beginner like me, so maybe we can start focusing on design plus content both. So that is something that we can check out. uh, okay, so Shubham also has a lot of case studies and product teardowns. Let's look into this. So again, he doesn't have a lot of details about what he has done, but if we go into the proof of work, that is, yeah. So one more thing that we can take away from all of this is product teardowns. I made one, Nancy made one, even Shubham has made one, but all of us use different tools. I use Canva, she used Google Docs, he's used Slides. You can start with anything. You don't have to, absolutely know Figma or any other tool that you want. And he has made sure that he's used brand colors. That is also something very nicely done. Yeah, I would like to ideally sit and take time and read it through. This is something that I really like, the color changing thing. So nice. Last, I think we have. Uh, a banner could have been better. Definitely, doesn't give an understanding of what he does. Okay, nice. So he's made a product teardown on Rapido. So this is also something. If you are working on projects of very big companies like Rapido ho gaya, Misho ho gaya, even if you don't have a very good description, yeah, you don't have very catchy thumbnails, people might use or look into it, because those products are very well known and people को generally बहुत curiosity होती है. So this is also something that we can understand. Try working on famous products, even if there are a lot of teardowns about that particular brand. Try and make your own as well. This is a very nicely made teardown. I would like to study this as well myself. So thanks, Ritin, for sharing this. I will also read through it. But one common thing that most of us can understand is always use brand colors. So that is also something that helps a lot.
Great. Once again, thank you, Lisha, for reviewing all these profiles and sharing the pros and cons of having a good, having these profiles, right? I'll surely apply all these in my proof of work too. I have a couple of questions, and also, if anyone else here has questions, please shoot them out. So, two questions that I ask every speaker, right? So, the very first one is three things that every PM aspirant should do. So anything from your side?
Yes.
It could be two, it could be four, no matter.
One thing is read a lot. uh, बहुत like there are a lot of resources PMing पे. There are a lot of paid ones, there are a lot of
Mhm.
free ones, but there's a lot of free content that you can consume. So reading is something that is very important. Unless you don't read teardowns, unless you don't know, मतलब I still remember I had my first product interview before Upstocks. There was a very small company. I just like most people, I just found कि हाँ product बहुत interesting होता है, apply कर देते हैं. The kind of questions that they asked were very basic. कि रिटेंशन कैसे कैलकुलेट करते हैं. वेरी मैथमेटिकल सिंपल चीज है यार, कि अभी का जो यूजर्स है माइनस द न्यू वंस, पुराने में कितना है, सिंपल मैथ कैलकुलेशंस. केपीआई क्या होता है, दे आस्क मी व्हाट विल बी द 3 केपीआई दैट यू वांट टू ट्रैक. वेरी जनरल, वेरी ब्रॉड क्वेश्चन, बट मुझे केपीआई का ही मतलब नहीं पता था. मुझे ये नहीं पता था कि रिटेंशन क्या होता है. तो don't be stupid. Don't You should always read कि क्या है before you put yourself into shoes of an interviewer or whatever. So reading is something that is very important. Second will be, of course, creating a lot of proof of work, especially as an aspirant. If you don't have experience, this is something that can help you as a sort of a proxy for experience. So doing that. Third will be LinkedIn पे बहुत सारे PMs से बात करो of existing companies. HR से ज़्यादा people who work in product, even in your own company or on LinkedIn. So maybe when you are ready to take an interview, whenever you actually want to, go into PMing, you have some people who can vouch for you. Yes.
Great, that's great.
Any
And my
suggestion for
second,
books?
क्या क्या?
yeah, please.
Books. Suggestion for books. I mean, as a PM, what are the books you would suggest?
Uh,
Anything that you
book
have personally read? Agar,
I have. There is one book called. Wait, I don't remember the name. Okay, I'm very bad with remembering any names. So there's a book called Cracking the Product Interview. That is something that everyone can read. There's a book called Lean Startup. That is something that a lot of people can read. I have a list of 10 books. I have not read through all of them, but I will share it on the group after this whenever I find it. Oh yes, the
Sure,
mom
definitely.
test. That is very very important. So the mom test is basically it's a very good book. I will not. Everyone should read it. This is also something that I got to know when I was doing my product cohort. Yeah, if you get chance to do any cohort or any hackathons or anything, which is for free, of course, if you can't pay money, please go into it. Even if you do an absolutely shitty job, it's fine. But at least you'll find a community, you'll find people to talk to, and a lot of knowledge.
yeah, Sushant, what's your second question?
Yeah, so my second question is, what three things my aspirant should not do, right, while getting into PM?
Not to do. Not buy those 1 lakh, 2 lakh ka courses that promise you a PM job at the end of 3 months, because that won't get you a job. But don't lose 1 lakh rupees for those courses. That is one thing. Second is, I said ना कि read करना है, मतलब you need to read a lot of, but सिर्फ दूसरों का काम मत पढ़ो, खुद का भी काम कुछ बनाओ. If you see कि किसी ने Rapido का tear down बनाया है, exactly, proof of work needs to be taken very seriously, at least as a PM. मतलब अगर तुम्हारे पास proof of work नहीं होगा ना, शायद तुम्हें इंजीनियर की जॉब मिल जाएगी, बट PM की कभी नहीं मिलेगी, because it's a very big responsibility. Nobody will just give you a PM job ऐसे ही. तो that is very important. um, कि proof of work बनाना बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. And third, I think these are the two things that people shouldn't do.
Yeah,
Sure,
I guess
sure.
I would like to add one. That is the communication. Okay, so you have to be very good at communication, right? Because as a PM, you have to fight every day. Trust me, people don't take you seriously. Okay, so you will have to, win conversation, be persuasive enough, right? Be very honest with your communication, right? If you're not good at communication, PM is something not really for you, right? So, I feel communication is something very important for any PM out there, right? They'll have
Okay.
to they'll be bridging a lot of gaps between a lot of stakeholders there, right? Engineers, designers, marketers, kabhi sales, kabhi CEO, yeah, right? So they have to be very good with communication skills. Awesome, awesome. So like, yeah, Shashank, what's next?
I'll just ask one more question. I just have one question. Yeah, you have mentioned about something about crew works, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so can you explain a little bit more about it? What was it?
Okay. So basically, crew work is just similar to a community, but they have these regular cohorts. पहले उनके cohort होते थे web development, AI/ML related, but then the founder is Ishant. He is a part of Fula community as well now. And Riten just took a session yesterday at CrewWorks cohort. So basically, cohorts में क्या होता है? It'll be a 5 week cohort. They have a very good mix of designers, engineers, PM aspirants, etc. They will ask you to team up and then work on the MVP of any problem statement that you want to solve. ठीक है. At the end of every week, say on Sunday, they will have a session from any say they have divided the 5 weeks into different steps. First week would be understanding product क्या होता है, second week would be researching कि आपको क्या problem solve करनी है, third will be talking to users, building the product, then fourth will be soft launch, and then तो वैसे 5 weeks का एक set curriculum होता है what you need to do in those 5 weeks. And Sunday को related to that week का topic एक session होगा. So they call experts or people who are working on projects etc. to talk about all of this stuff. And of course you have a very good company of people who actually are working in startups industry. You can team up with them, work on project. So now they have made it paid. When I had joined it was free, but it is very it is not of 1 lakh 2 lakh rupees, it's very nominal. And they do take interviews vagera as well now to maintain quality. So I think I can ask Kashan to put in a little more info in the community later on. And I think if you had a chance, you should join it.
Sure, sure. And I guess, as you said, right, a community plays a very crucial role in growing as a PM, right? Because at the end of the day, you have to, as Ritin said, you have to communicate with the different departments. And talking about community, if anyone is not still yet a part of Fueler community, you can just check out the link over here. And it's not just the general community. You can also join some specific community. If you're a developer, we have specific community for that. So yeah, do join us if you're not yet part of, and let's have fun together there also. So once again, anyone have any questions, any doubt, anything?
So,
I guess.
Lisha, how to reach out to you? I mean, if anyone has any
Oh
doubts.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm a part of the community. I think everyone might have my number. If you don't, and I think everybody here right now is a part of the community. If not, here's my email. You can always
No,
email me.
I see this new face here, Yasin. He's not a part of our community, so you might know.
So welcome.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome, awesome. I hope it was good enough for everyone here, right? So, thank you so much,
Thank you
Lisha.
for staying
But
by, guys. Thank you for having me.
yeah, yeah, awesome, awesome. So, I guess we can wrap it up, right? Yeah. Strong,
Yes.
anything else?
No, I guess that's it. And once again, thank you, Lisha, from
Thank you,
Team
everyone.
Fueler
Thank
and
you for
everyone
having me.
else. Yeah, it's a really amazing, session, and I'll surely, develop some of my teardowns also. And
Awesome,
also,
awesome.
I'll reach out to you and disturb you if I have any doubt.
Done, done. Okay.
Chalo. Great.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye bye. Bye,
Thank you,
guys.
guys. Take care.
You
See
too.
you soon.